All right, we are live. Good morning, everyone. I've just noticed, okay, so I've changed a little bit around and I've got getting there, but I realised I've got my ironing board right behind me. So we've got the plant removed from my head, okay? And now we have the ironing board. But we're going to do this anyway with an ironing board regardless. So you might have read the title, New Self versus Old Self. I had it ran the other way, but I thought, no, I want to make the focus the new self, because that's the secret to creating lasting change, is having a new self that we're going to practice being. So whatever that looks like for you. I realised that there's a lot involved with creating a new persona, and in respects to weight loss, for me, it's just practicing new habits and deciding who you want to be, and then just flipping doing it. Like I can make excuses till the cows come home. I can make, like this really, really hard and make myself into a complete failure at it because I'm waiting for perfection. I'm waiting till, I don't know, something falls out of the sky, bashes me around the head, and all of a sudden, hey presto, I'm a new person, I've got this sorted, I'm done. Doesn't happen that way. It really doesn't happen that way. We're all waiting for a revelation or a change in something, and that's where my talk with you about the yeah buts comes into it. So, yeah, but I can't do it because of this, or I haven't had enough sleep, I haven't done this, I haven't got that, or that. It's all right for that person because they're such and such. Insert excuse, whatever your excuse of the moment might be. So I'm not going to let us get away with that. I'm not going to let me get away with that. I need to look at who it is I want to be. Who is the new self? The new Carol has a few rules. Now, I've learned that if I create rules for myself to live by, then I can quite easily distinguish when I am living in the Carol that I believe myself to be, that I want to be, that I'm practicing towards being, versus the Carol that I am just, who's got me to here or there, actually, because I am practicing being this new version of myself. So I kind of can say that with a little bit of, the word is a little bit of honesty, that I have made some lasting changes. And I'm going to explain to you. So in my journey with the eating and closing off. So that's the only thing that I've ever mentioned really about doing something, because it's such a pertinent, helpful instruction or rule or concept that for me personally creates lasting change, just doing that one thing. So continue the journey. Got to this week, and as you know, Saturday, my previous session with you guys, I wasn't feeling the greatest. I could feel that niggle in my throat, the hot and cold a little bit achy in the joints, and a little bit headachy, and it's like, oh no, I know this feeling, this kind of at the final outcome of where this heads. I end up, in sick in bed and coughing, spluttering, and feeling really, really miserable and not like doing anything at all. So I took the bull by the horns, and I started my own flu avoidance protocol, which means buying one of those big bottles, 2-litre bottles of daily juice, the orange juice, because that's vitamin C, eating oranges as well directly, because that's reconstituted, and I'm sure the actual oranges are better. Just a thing, that's how nature gave them to us. So I believe that must be the best way, because God knows best, I'm sure of it. And yeah, anything processed means that man's touched it. So it's not as good as its actual natural form. just a concept I believe in. And tablets. Hey, I took tablets. I took a lot of tablets, vitamin C tablets, zinc tablets, immune tablets, Immunofort tablets, my usual tablets that I take for my bariatric surgery, vitamin diffusers, so they absorb with my little tummy. Took those. So I had this big handful of tablets I'm taking every day, which is good because the orange juice can handle them. It means sort of puts a lining on my stomach and they go down okay. I don't have, apart from a little bit of heartburn, but hey, we live with that. What's Gaviscon for if not for making you feel a little bit more comfortable when there's a bit of reflux going on. Okay. So I implemented this protocol and tried to live the best I could as far as sleep goes. That wasn't working. Nothing was working that I needed to. I stopped exercising. And I've got to Thursday and I didn't succumb to the lurgy. Great. Excellent. But what I did notice is that I was a little bit lax in my eating. I was a little bit lax with my rule. So it came to Monday and I got to my 6 o'clock point and I know I hadn't eaten enough for the day, but I'd been a little bit lax on Saturday and a little bit lax on Sunday due to not feeling well, I think, or just not focusing, just getting distracted, just ignoring the time. So I gave myself excuses and allowances. And then Monday came along and I said, I have to obey my own 6 o'clock rule. So Monday night, I stopped eating at 6 o'clock. I made a cup of tea. I went to bed and I stuck to that program that I need to, that keeps me on track, that helps me develop good habits for the other things that I do. So Tuesday, wake up. I'm really hungry now because I know that I didn't eat enough yesterday. So now it's an incentive for me not to do that again. So the rewards for stopping eating at 6 o'clock is I'm hungry to eat well on Tuesday and then be able to stop eating again at 6 o'clock. And I'm proud to say that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I've managed to stick back to it. So look, that's a huge win for me. That's like in my life, as being overweight and having food issues, the fact that it was 2 days till I got back to my 6 o'clock cutoff, that's such a big win. I'm celebrating that win because that's the new Carol, the new self that I want to be, closing the gap between falling off the wagon, if you like, or not, disobeying my own rules and getting back on track. So remember I talked in another session about closing the gap. So between maintaining the all on, everything's going well. We're sticking to a program. We've got a diet worked out. We're exercising. Everything's going great. And that's wonderful. But we're human. It doesn't last every single day. That momentum doesn't keep going. So how do we get to the point where something's happened? There's a change in lifestyle, there's just a change in your mood, change in your hormones, flipping heck. They're our biggest saboteur, I reckon, is hormones. Doesn't matter what stage of life you are, whether it's a cyclical monthly thing or whether you're like me and you're not having that cycle anymore. So it's just hormones all the flipping time, I reckon. Although I reckon these ones are easier to deal with. They feel much more even than the up and down of especially teenagehood and early 20s and things where your moods just fluctuate so much. Another topic for another day. So I'm finding it easier at this stage of life to get back to identifying that I'm off track, get back on track. And look, the beauty of having this is that, and this having this podcast, having these sessions with you, is it keeps me really accountable. I'm trying to show up twice a week and talk about what's going on in my world with respects to diet, exercise, and my self-image, my commitment to self, etc., and my learnings. So hot off the press, it's happening every day. It's my journey, my life. So it may be boring to some, it may be inspiring to others, but I love that you're here. I love that you come back. I've had some really positive feedback this week, which is strengthens my resolve. And on a day like today where it's wintry and gross outside and I've got serious head hair because I went to the gym and I didn't know what to do with my hair. I'm getting my hair cut tomorrow, so it's like it really needs it. Don't look too close. There's so much great. Anyway, we're not talking about my hair. This is not a hair podcast. Thank goodness. It'll be a short one for me. So in creating the new Carol, I've had to think about this and like who is the new Carol? And I suppose a little bit of that requires going back to see who the old Carol was. And that's where the video about the reasons why I'm fat, I needed to do that. That was quite pivotal for me, owning the fact that my comfort eating came from pain. It came from trauma. It came from feeling neglected and not nourished and nurtured as a child. There were some definite food things. We weren't wealthy. Mum didn't have a huge food budget. And so I remember, laughing with my sisters about having one banana a week and we're only allowed 2 cookies in the evening. Until you went in the pantry and store. Don't know how Mum never knew. She never told me off for going and snacking out on bickies. She must have known. Well, I know me. I notice everything. So she must have noticed, but she never got up me. She never told me off for having the extra. I don't know how many I had. I probably had a lot. I liked cookies. I liked sugar. Getting me onto my new thing, having a little moment there. But I ate and I developed bad habits because relationships brought me into a place of chaos where the lack of care and nurture that I felt like I needed as a child became manifest in my relationship with boyfriends, partners. And so I used food, alcohol, drugs as a place of comfort. So I definitely don't want to do that. That's easy to say, no, I don't want to be that Carol anymore. I really don't like being that Carol. I don't want to be her. I feel her pain. I know what she went through. I know how hard it was. I know how desperate and how out of control and scared and how much hatred I had for myself. I know that. And I accept that all those things are part of who I am. And in this moment, in this life, in this part of my life that I've got to, I'm grateful that I can choose to adopt different behaviours. I'm so grateful that I can decide each day to put in practice things that help me live a slim, healthy life I love. That's an easy way of putting it. So I've got a couple of mottos that I use. One is, I don't drink alcohol. That's easy. I can commit to that because being a recovering alcoholic, I don't want to drink alcohol. I know how alcohol affects me and affects my life. And from a weight loss perspective, from a mental health perspective, from every perspective, drinking alcohol would fuck my life up. Excuse the language, but yeah, F-bomb alert. I would really mess my life up again. So that's a choice that I've made for the last some years, 5-something years, I think. I don't know, it might be 4. I've got a friend who can probably tell me because she's way ahead of me and we're working together, which is really nice. And then the other thing that I have learned is that I don't eat sugar. Yeah, I don't eat sugar. I don't eat sugar, I don't eat processed foods. And so they're a little bit more rigid and a little bit harder. Case in point, a friend of mine just came back from Japan and no. A work colleague. Don't worry about the Japan one because that's not the story. Can you tell about coffee? Jim, then coffee. So yeah, everything's going a little bit manic pixie. Yeah, so I went to work, went into the office, and there were some Dutch biscuits, and one of the guys had been to over that side of the world, brought them back. And so they were opened, and I was asked if I want one. And I did actually say, I don't eat sugar. And then I thought, I'm going to have one. It's like, like you can't be 100% of the time. So 80% of the time. I can be that. I think I can be that. I think I pretty much am that actually, and I'm pretty proud of myself for doing that. So I did have the Biggie, and it was blooming good. Like if I was going to waste my I don't eat sugar on a something, that was a good choice. It was really yum. So I don't eat sugar. As a rule, I don't eat sugar. Every now and then, I might eat a little bit of sugar. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Especially if I've got my closed the kitchen mouth at 6 o'clock at night, because that's where the real magic comes in. Eat a cookie at midday, you've used it up by 6 o'clock, and definitely before you go to sleep. So that is a win. That's a win because I didn't eat the whole packet. I just ate one cookie. It's a win because I don't have to be completely rigid. I can evolve and, like for a period of time, I can be completely rigid and then I can adopt being a little less rigid sometimes. Because I do have a tendency to be all or nothing. So I like the new Carol to not have to be so rigid, not have to be so 100% rules, discipline, motivation, all those things. Yes, I need them, and yes, I need to be that person, but I can also be a bit softer. I can also have a coffee after I've been to the gym. I shouldn't drink coffee. Number of reasons I shouldn't drink coffee, but I do love a coffee, and I'm not going to give it up today, obviously. Yeah, so what are your things? What do you think you could change and stick to? Maybe 80% of the time. Why don't we use that as a little guide? Can 80% of the time be enough? Do we need to start a program and start at 100% for a period of time to break the habits, to commit to ourselves, to get into a new pattern and a new routine, so that when we're doing 80%, we've already got a foundation of what's really perfect, and now we can sway from it without going all the way back to old self, bad habits, unhelpful processes in life. A combination of a lot of different things that keep us stuck in unhelpful thinking. I don't want to use the words bad and good. None of it's bad or good. It's just outworkings of emotional places that we're at and what we can handle in this moment. So, yeah. Let's think about how we can be our new self, if we could redesign who we are, what does that look like? What is that? You know, am I a person who wakes up early and goes to the gym? Is that my ideal? For me, it is. I love getting up and working out. I came across an audio book, which is different for me. I normally listen to true crime or other motivational and styling podcasts. Styling is my new thing, like clothes and styling, because I seem to stand in my wardrobe and go, I've got nothing to wear, and I've got a wardrobe full of things. So why is it I can't find anything to wear? And so I've decided to go on a bit of a style journey. So this is my style today. Loving pink. Don't love the hair. I do not love the hair, but that's what we're going with today. Anyway, waffling again. So, what are the things we would like our new self to practice? Have a think about that. Have a think about that as you notice yourself doing different things. Is this something that I want to continue to practice, or would I like to remove this as something I practice? So for me, something I'd like to remove is my procrastination. I'd like to really address that. And maybe that's an 80%, 20% thing. Maybe I can't always do everything. Why not? Am I making an excuse by saying I can't? We have to think this through. I'm going to have to really pull this one apart. So we might have to have an update come Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to write this. Sorry, you know that I do this. I could actually go back and watch it and take notes. Okay, I'm not going to write it down. I will have a watch. So there's also, I'm going to leave you with that. Have a think about it. Consider new self versus old self. What's that change required that we can work on? That completes the kind of podcasty thing. But now, some fun news. I've been really thinking about it, and a few things popped to mind. First of all, I'm going to rebrand because this podcast isn't about bariatric surgery. So there is a component to it, but it's not what my whole podcast is about. It's about weight loss journey and being your best self. So I'm going to rebrand. That's the first thing. The second thing is that my close friends and family and I are chatting on Facebook, and I thought, well, I might create a Facebook group where we can share tricks, maybe make it a more intimate group that can converse and talk a bit more freely. And I don't know what I want that to be, because I just want to be able to communicate directly. So I'm going to start that. And who knows? Who knows what it's going to be? I'm going to start a Facebook group. I'm going to start a private Facebook group and work out how to invite people and open that up. So look for that. I will be linking it, and I'll be linking this into my Facebook. And then the other thing is there's actually two more. I'm thinking about writing a course. So the content from my lives, using that as the basis for a course. And also I am thinking about putting together a bit of a challenge. Secret Squirrel. It's a challenge that never ends. So instead of being a 12-week challenge, I'm just going to keep it going. So we can all start whenever you like and do it as you want, how you want. Yeah, it's kind of like the least structured challenge you've ever done. And I'm excited about it because I love like random and not structured. But if you need structured, we'll structure it. So it's kind of, watch this space. I might launch it sooner than we think. In fact, I think that might be what Saturday is about. Okay, a lot of talking. I really hope you're having a good week. I really hope something resonates with you today, yeah, I love this. I love this. Yeah, big encouragement. Thank you to all that have left me comments one way or another. Thank you for watching. I love that you're watching. I love that, a couple of friends that have, talked to me this week just blow my mind. Not going to mention names, but yeah, I'm really blown away. So, yeah, I'm stoked to do this. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Carol going on again. Have a great week. I look forward to seeing you again on Saturday. Take care of yourselves.